Okay, cool. So we are now recording. We got Jacob here for a exit interview. Jacob, you want to take just a quick minute to kind of introduce yourself, just give a little general background, and we can kind of dive into things.
Yeah, like you said, my name's Jacob. I just recently went through PA school and started my new job. And I reached out to Jack because I needed a little help getting back into the swing of things as far as fitness go, because I let that put that on the back burner during school. And before school, I was really good about going to the gym 5 days a week and, being somewhat mindful about my diet. But I just know myself, and I know I need someone else to kind of push me along a little bit to get back on track. And I'm always that kind of person that I would rather just have someone tell me what to do in the gym, and rather than show up and have to think about which machines I'm going to do and what I need to do. I rather just have somebody watching and tell me what to do, even from like a virtual aspect. It's much better to me than having someone there in person. I don't know.
Yeah, you need clarity, systems, and routines, and that's exactly how we got the transformation. So I'll probably throw up your transformation at some point, as far as like the near 20 pounds weight loss, but like I talked about, probably closer to probably 25 pounds of fat and a little bit of muscle
Hmm.
built too. Just based on your lifts, the progressions you made throughout the program as well, got super strong, which is awesome. Obviously, in combination with the fat loss, which is great. But you kind of take me back to, let's say, kind of like day one for you in terms of like you and I starting the program back up, obviously kind of getting in touch. Like, what was life like for you at that point? What kind of like maybe were you struggling with, and what caused you to reach out in the first place?
Yeah, I wanted to get back in my routine. I missed it. It's just I don't know. It's like you get stuck in your day to day, and you just have to do something to push yourself out of that. And for me, it was reaching out to you. As far as that, because I know I'm capable of doing it. I've done it before. I just, for whatever reason, this time I needed a push because I was starting a new job and then I was buying a house and doing all these other things. So I just was got comfortable in that routine and almost got stuck in a way. So fixing that involved reaching out to you because I knew I needed to get back to where I was because I was much happier
Yeah.
then.
And you were almost just like just as busy, if not more busy, when you and I started working together. So as far
Yeah.
as a lot of people that say like, hey, like I'm gonna wait till I'm less busy, what made you not wait when you did have everything that you had going on to like decide to actually pull the trigger and go ahead and go forward with this?
Because I just realized that I won't ever be less busy. You're always going to have something to do. There's always going to be more stuff. There's always going to be other things you could or want to, or, there's always going to be something.
Yeah.
And so, there's no time like the present, I
Yeah.
guess.
No, seriously. And
Yeah.
as far as some clients will mention, like I just honestly got off call another client who's like when he was getting ready for Thanksgiving this time last year, he was really upset they couldn't find anything that fit. Was there any sort of like specific moment you're like when you saw yourself in the mirror or when you're put on clothes or like an event, you're like, I need to make a change? Or was it kind of like a slow and steady thing? Do you remember kind of like what triggered it?
It was definitely a culmination of progressively like all the clothes starting to be a little tighter for sure.
Gotcha.
They're definitely like the scrubs I had for work, my one pair. I was like, wow, the waistband. Wow,
That's
that's
tight.
tight. Yeah. And I was just like tired of feeling like that, It just
Yeah.
eventually you just get tired of being tired of feeling that way
Yeah.
and just want to change.
Gotcha. And what do you feel like changed the most when we started working together? Obviously, getting back in that good routine, but was there something that kind of clicked for you as like week one or month one or whatever it was? You're like, okay, this is like how good I want to feel, and this is making progress. Like, was there something that kind of clicked in terms of like the mental and physical changes that you were seeing?
Yeah, I definitely getting back into the gym, definitely the mindset of going clicked back in rather than it being like a chore or this thing I had to do. It was more something that I got to do to make myself feel better. So it became less of like another job, basically. So that was nice. And then also the food aspect of it too. Like even, you kind of when you think about going on a calorie restriction a little bit, you immediately, shudder a little bit because you're like, oh geez,
What am I
this is going to be
losing?
awful. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be. Like even after the first week, I was like, oh, I had a lot of food that I didn't think I was going to be able to have. and still have some left over for, the other things in life. Like, I don't know, I like peanut butter and I like pasta. That's who I am. And I could just still have some of those things.
Yeah, and I think you had a couple trips along the way, some like short trips here and there, visiting people, and even like and working in wine too, and realizing that it's all about balance, right? You can kind
Yeah.
of have that ability to still kind of work in things that you enjoy. I think it's a big
Hmm.
difference in terms of like you mentioned when people start like thinking about a diet or going to the gym, they're like, oh, I have to be in the gym for 2 hours a day, every day, 7 days a week, and only eat chicken and rice out of Tupperware containers. It's like, yeah, that seems daunting. That seems miserable. But
Yeah.
when you realize, oh, I don't have to do those things, I can still get the results, it almost like makes it
Mhm.
feel easier. So do you feel like it was almost like easier than you thought it was going to be, harder, the same? Like what were your kind of expectations and then like what did you actually experience?
Yeah, it's definitely easier, especially once you find like the foods that you like to make that are healthier, because then you just, you're like, okay, this week I'll buy these certain components from the grocery, and then you make X amount of different meals that you want to. And I didn't necessarily meal prep. Just I don't know, I just didn't. Other than lunch, I did do that, but you can't make that while you're at work. So
Yeah.
for me, it was a lot easier because you just found the ingredients that were going to set you up for success, and that's all you bought. So even then, snacks, if you wanted snacks, you bought the healthier snacks. And then, when 11 p.m. or whatever came around, and for some reason you needed something, you had the healthier option instead of having potentially some things that would throw you off.
Yeah, I think you'd set
Mhm.
yourself up for success with a good environment, right? And then,
Mhm.
although you did some meal prep, you did at least meal planning, which I think is a big thing too. Like, you don't have to
Yeah.
make every single meal, right? Sunday, you have to cook up whatever 21 meals for the entire week. But if you do some planning of like, oh, I'm going to make sure I have high protein snacks on hand, I'm going to make sure my fruits and vegetables. Then, when you have like the proteins, the carbs, and the fruits and vegetables, you can mix and match those however you want. But it still does take a little bit of planning, like you mentioned, but you don't need to prep 21 meals in one day, right? Like sometimes that's
Yeah.
just ridiculous or your preferences change, right? You don't want to eat the same thing every day for lunch. So you have the ability to kind of be flexible with that, which is awesome. And then I think what you mentioned too about the workouts is huge because me coming off my hernia surgery last year, it was a big thing
Yeah.
where all I wanted to do for 4 months straight, all I wanted to do was work out. And I couldn't. I was physically like
Mhm.
incapable of doing so. And it made me appreciate so much more of like when I do get to train, it's a privilege. It's not like something I have to do. It's I get to go train. I get to celebrate what my body's capable of doing. I get to get stronger and show off what I'm capable of physically. And I think also a fact that how strong you got, like I was looking at some of your like weight increases. I mean, you were adding 10, 15, 20 pounds across exercises while losing the near 20 pounds of body fat,
Yeah.
which is awesome. So you had a good amount of recovery. You weren't in the gym every day either. You still had your time
Yeah.
off and focus on steps. So I think the ability to look at workouts as a celebration of what your body can do and all the other benefits, right? It's not just for more muscle or just more strength. It's bone density, it's mobility, it's confidence, it's a little bit of calorie burns. It's all those things
Mhm.
put together into one. So it's not, oh, I'm just working out to build bigger muscles. It helps my everything, right? How you feel, how you look, endorphins, all that kind of good stuff too, which is great.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I mean the best part for me too, now that I'm thinking about it, I just did steps. Like, I didn't jog once. I did not run at all. I
No
don't
cardio.
I don't do that. I don't like if I really want to be miserable, I'll do that. But I
Yeah.
don't want to be. And so I didn't. And it still worked. I
Yeah.
think that's the part people put themselves in a corner with making meals and putting them in plastic containers and then running for, endless amounts of time. And it makes people, I think, feel like crap. I mean, I hate running. It does. I just don't like it. So I won't do it. So I
Yeah.
just walk.
Yeah. Because otherwise you force yourself to, you willpower for what, 1 month, maybe 2 months, and you fall
Right.
and fall back off.
Right, exactly. But it's much easier for me to get a walking pad and then
Mhm.
rewatch Game of Thrones. I don't know, something that goes on forever.
Yeah, no, seriously, it is a big mindset shift of thinking things like I have to do these things that suck and suffer through it to get a result.
Hmm.
Or you find, oh, there are things that I don't have to suffer through that I do enjoy within
Yeah,
moderation. And there are some things you have to do, right? There's a calorie deficit as part of it and your protein goals, things like that. You can find
yeah,
a lot more enjoyable ways to do that, make that happen, and realize that's temporary, right? Because you're Shoot, are we a month now post, I think, or a little bit over?
Yeah, a little over a month.
Yeah, a little bit over a month, and you still maintain your weight loss. I assume you mentioned before, obviously, we started recording, you're still feeling great. You're still looking good. You
Mhm.
had a nice, big, long, week long, was it a week long vacation too in Cabo?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, week long vacation, and you came back and still have that good balance. So, what do you feel like some big like habits and mindset shifts you made from when they started the program to now that you're able to lose the weight and obviously keep it off several months post program?
hmm Yeah, it's definitely, first of all, learning about myself that I won't go to the gym in the evening.
Mhm.
I just won't. So I have to go in the morning. And it doesn't bother me. It doesn't. You set the alarm and you go and you get into the routine and you like it. And then, some things come along and then you learn how much you miss going to the gym in the morning. Like when I went out of town on vacation, waking up later was weird. Like it was out of routine. It was odd.
Mhm.
So getting into just the habit of doing that. And then when it comes to food, I mean, you learn even when you're out with friends, even when you're in public at a restaurant, like you learn how to eat, but not be scared of eating certain things,
Yeah.
which I think is huge. Because I mean, we were still wine club members during this whole thing, and I
Mhm.
still got to be able to enjoy life, friends, and family. And to me, that's the habit that I created during this time and learned about myself. That was the most useful.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think they have to sacrifice that, or they during the fat loss phase they'll cut those things out, right? They say no
Mhm.
socializing, no wine, no this, no that, and they get the results. But if you don't learn how to incorporate those things that you want to enjoy and want to be a part of your life during the fat loss phase, then you won't be able to maintain that weight loss going forward. So the fact that you were able to work those things in, utilize our social refeeds and like calorie banking we talked about during the program, all those things allowed you to be like, oh, I can lose weight and still be social. I can maintain my weight loss and still be social like you have been for the last several months, which is awesome. And I know you will continue to do going forward as well. And as far as some other big wins, so obviously we talked about the scale, the waistline coming down, clothes fitting better. But what's some other maybe like non-typical, like not scale wins that you've experienced?
Yeah, I just have more energy and I didn't really notice at first because it just things are gradually changing. And at first maybe I'm a little tired because you worked out and you're sore and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
I've noticed I used to be like a eat after work napper kind of person. Like
Mhm.
I had to have a nap to, make it to like 10 or 11 p.m. without being totally grumpy.
Yeah.
And now honestly, I've turned into like I can be awake from 5 a.m. to midnight and be fine. It's kind of weird, but for me, but
Yeah,
it's
no, that's
that
great.
energy
Good
from
energy, good
exercising.
focus.
Yeah, exactly. Just that was a win that I didn't really expect, and then it's just nice hearing people like you. They just talk differently about how you look, and
Mhm.
I can't really explain it. And there weren't necessarily some specific moments, but people just start to be like enthusiastic about your changes as well, and
Mhm.
even people that like doubted not doubted, but they were like, "Oh, you're going on a weight loss thing. Oh,
Good
da, da, da,
luck.
da, da."
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But then when they start to see the changes too, they're like, "Wait a minute. Wait, so what are you doing?" Then
Yeah.
they become curious. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think yeah, I know when you did go Cabo, I think you mentioned like a couple like yeah, not like oh my gosh, you look amazing, more of like some actually like oh damn, like
Oh,
looking lean or like right?
yeah, we were doing chicken fights in the pool. And the one person,
Gotcha.
yeah, they were like, "I don't want to go against him. He works out all the time." You
Yeah.
know? And it's someone that was an acquaintance. They didn't know, they don't know what I do in my daily life. So it
Yeah.
was just that was nice to hear.
Yeah,
True.
getting that kind of external kind of validation of like, oh yeah, like what I'm doing is working. Like people can visually see that, right? And it's kind of one of those things where it's good and bad. Like we are judged based on our looks the very first time we meet someone, right? It's
Yeah.
all we have, right? But until we start talking, we can get our personality across, be funny, great. But you're gonna be judged on how you look, which is unfortunate, but it's true. So might as well put our best foot forward. And in that case, obviously you did. And they're like, damn, this guy works out all the time. It's like, yeah, well, I actually don't. I have a good routine, but I'm not in I don't live in the gym, right? I still have
Right.
everything else I got going on in life and have all those things at the same time, which is great. I think realize that you can have it all to some extent with
hmm
trade-offs, but for the most part, like it's a good balance. Is there anything you feel like the old you wouldn't believe that the current you is doing or kind of like achieved when you first started the program over 6 months ago? They're like, there's no way I could ever go to Cabo with that much confidence, take my shirt off, or I could ever do X, Y, or Z, but you are doing it now.
Yeah, I just really did not think I was going to be able to lose the weight without cardio, to be honest. Just, I mean, seriously, I really didn't think I was going to be able to do it. I mean, I planned on, and what I have done previously was I would go to the gym and lift, but I would also, then get on the treadmill or the stairs. It was always the stair stepper.
Mhm.
And I would be at the gym for hour and a half plus.
Yeah.
And now I am not. I'm at the gym for maybe 45 minutes to an hour in the morning,
Mhm.
which because there's no one else there at 5 in the morning. But
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't. I just walk and that's it. I really didn't think I was going to get to this position as quickly as I did without cardio.
Yeah, I mean, because I have your progress photos pulled up on another screen, and I will probably share those in the videos I send. But like, it's a night and day difference. Like, I can just like you just obviously you lost a lot of body fat, but you just look healthier. Like,
Yeah.
I think like all over, like face, leaner jawline, obviously more muscle, like stronger.
hmm
Is there anything you remember specifically as far as like strength gains, like as far as like either pull ups or bench press or any specific numbers? I'm trying to think if I have any, but
I was uh I was just shocked that I was able to gain still as much put on as much weight each time I went to the gym,
mhm.
like even in a deficit the whole time.
Yeah.
That was just shocking to me in general. I definitely my legs definitely surprised me because I think when I was doing one leg uh, the one leg machine. Anyway, my brain is escaping me on the
You're
name.
good.
But anyway, see,
Single
this
leg
is
leg
why I have
press.
someone tell me what to do.
Yeah.
And one leg was I was doing as much weight with one leg as I used to do with both.
That's huge.
I think so. That was just kind of shocking.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I think a big thing too that I noticed throughout your program was an identity shift as well in the fact that
hmm
you kind of like start out being like, just yeah, tell me what to do. I'll just go and do it. Hopefully the results come in. Versus then you start almost like make some of those adjustments on your own, and you had more tools in
hmm
your tool belt. And you were telling me instead of like asking me questions, like, hey, like this is what I'm thinking. Do you agree with this? And I'd be like, yeah,
hmm
that's exactly what I would do. So like throughout the
hmm
process, you not only got the results, but you learned how to obviously start to implement those ideas and those mindsets and those tools that we learned. So it went from just like being, hey, tell me what to do versus like, hey, this is what I'm thinking. And then being confirmed by me that you're thinking the right thing and you can go out and do it. I think that's why you've had so much success after the program as well to keep the weight off because you didn't just do something kind of fall like a drill sergeant. You did learn and adapt
hmm
and kind of like modify those things to your current life and why I think you'll be able to maintain those results for a long period of time, right? The sustainability was there, the ability to make small changes over time rather than trying to do a complete 180 right away, which doesn't really last, right? We don't want to
Right.
jump in the deep end. We want to wade in slowly but surely and build our confidence up and self-esteem. And now you're walking around standing taller, walking taller because you've proven to yourself that you can do it, right? You mentioned 6 months ago, I don't know if I can do that, not without a bunch of cardio and sacrifice. And you're like, oh, wait, I can. And that just kind of elevates and stacks up our self-esteem and self-confidence as we go to, which I love to see. Like when clients kind of are able to take those things in their own hands, run with it, stick with it, and be like, oh yeah, this isn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. This is something that I am now going to kind of have as a part of my identity and personality as a healthy and fit individual because it benefits everything else in my life, which is huge.
Exactly.
Yeah. And as far as kind of last little bit here, as far as if someone was on the fence, as far as like when you are or in your shoes 7, 8 months ago, and you were just going to talk to them about like, hey, like I'm thinking about trying to start this health and fitness journey, or maybe like work with Jack or sign up for a program. Like, what
Yeah.
would you tell your past self or someone in that situation that you were in 7 or 8 months ago?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's definitely worth it. I would say it's worth it. And I mean, the question is how many days do you want to keep not feeling good about yourself? How long do you want to keep feeling like that? Every day you put clothes on, you don't like it. Look at yourself in the mirror, maybe you like it, maybe you don't even look because you don't
That's
like it. So how many days do you want to keep feeling like you don't like yourself or your life? And instead jump on it and feel better.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think
that's
the
the
big
biggest
thing,
thing.
yeah, I think people always kind of get over like they get intimidated by the process, right? Whether it be
Yeah.
someone trying to lose 100 pounds, they say, oh, it's going to take you a year. the year's going to pass anyways, right? And
Yeah.
you want to spend that year continuing to be 100 pounds overweight, or and
Yeah.
this was pretty short. I think you and I like we did our fat loss phase. We even had some diet breaks built in there, but like probably solid maybe what 5 months of actual dieting. And you say,
Yeah.
oh yeah, that sounds like a long time, right? At the same time, like it was enjoyable. It wasn't as
Hmm.
much work as you thought. There's no cardio. The time's gonna pass anyways. At the end of the 5 months, you can have an amazing transformation, or you could have just stayed 5 months of maybe potentially even getting worse, right? I
Right.
think that's a big thing too, is realizing like what is the trade-off? It's not
Yeah.
just like monetary trade-offs or time, like the time's gonna pass anyways, but it's like what can
Yeah.
you get out of it? And of course, if you set yourself up for success now, then you have hopefully 50, 60, 70, 80 years of a
Yeah.
good, healthy approach to your body. And obviously, the longer you stay healthy, the longer you can live for too, which I think is cool.
Well, exactly. That's exactly it, right? So if you just keep going down the same trend, I mean, potentially that's going to lead to a lot more cost
Yeah,
medically and time and all sorts of other stuff that you don't think about versus just jumping in and not doing a complete 360, 180. It's little changes over time that make a big
exactly.
difference.
Yeah, being consistent and then kind of having that overall healthy lifestyle, which I think gives you better quality of life too. Which I guess that's the last question I'll ask is, do you like, was there anything that improved in terms of your quality of life that you felt like you unlocked when you had that transformation, whether it be like, oh, I was more confident, so I did this, or I did that, or buy a new wardrobe, or anything like that you felt like you didn't do because of you were like in a position where you weren't maybe super happy with how you looked, and now that you are happy, healthy, confident that you do now that you wouldn't have done in the past?
Yeah, I definitely and I kind of jumped on the whole thing because of the trip to Cabo. So I definitely would not have felt as good about myself if I did not do all of these things in Cabo.
Sure.
I mean, as a kid, I definitely wore like a shirt to the beach, not for like sunscreen, whatever, but more so because I didn't like the way I looked. And
Mhm.
I just was really glad I didn't do that this time because
Yeah.
I felt good about myself.
Got to enjoy your trip a little bit more, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I'm building and renovating this house, and physically I'm stronger and I'm able to do a bunch of these renovations because I can do it by myself because I can just lift things that I previously would have needed help with.
Yeah.
So that's also an unexpected nice benefit.
Yeah, right. It covers a bunch of ground, and then the fact that you've been able to maintain that and will
Yeah.
continue to is great because then, and I think you realize along the way too is that one vacation or one weekend away, like that doesn't speak for your entire identity or who you are, right? You're still a
Right.
healthy and fit individual, and one vacation, perfect. Enjoy yourself, have fun. You were at an all-inclusive resort, you drank, you
Mhm.
ate, and you came back home, got back on track, weight came down, and then boom, you're right back where we were when we ended the program, which is fantastic.
Yeah, yeah. It's easier to do when you're not, trying to dig yourself out of like a bigger hole, so to speak, Like, sure, you may come back bloated and way more. You may not be happy with the scale when you come back from a vacation or even a weekend out, but I mean, it comes off quickly.
Yeah, when you have the
The
right
weight just comes
habits.
right back.
Yeah,
Hmm.
right habits, good routine like you do, which is awesome. So yeah, I think the any other final words about the program, about work with me, anything else you want to say?
It was great. It was really easy. You were really helpful throughout the process, and even when I wasn't super consistent, you reminded me to be consistent in a pleasant way,
Yep.
and so that was very helpful.
Awesome. Glad to hear. Glad you had a great experience. But we'll go ahead and wrap things up. And then I appreciate you taking the time to speak with me today and kind of go over
Mhm.
everything. We'll go ahead and stop the recording here. Thank